Once upon a time in India, there lived a wise and just king named Dabshalim. The king loved knowledge and wisdom and often sought the counsel of sages and philosophers. One day, the king invited the famous Indian philosopher Bidpai to his palace to offer advice and guidance. Bidpai was known for his great wisdom, and his reputation had spread throughout the land. When Bidpai arrived at the palace, King Dabshalim welcomed him warmly and said, "I have heard much about you, Bidpai, and I wish to learn wisdom and knowledge from you. I want you to tell me a story that teaches me how to be a better ruler and avoid falling into arrogance and pride." Bidpai smiled and said, "Your Majesty, I will tell you a story about an arrogant sage to serve as a lesson for you and all rulers who seek justice and wisdom." Bidpai began his story. Once upon a time, there lived an arrogant sage named Nirmala. Nirmala considered himself the wisest person on earth and refused to listen to the advice of others, believing he was the only one with true wisdom. He looked down on people, thinking those around him were less knowledgeable and inferior. One day, a poor but clever man named Gopal came to Nirmala. Gopal said to Nirmala, "Sir, I have heard of your great wisdom, but I have come to test it and see if your wisdom surpasses mine." Nirmala, angered by Gopal's words, said arrogantly, "Who are you to test me? I am the greatest sage." Gopal replied with a calm smile, "Well, if you are indeed the greatest sage, I will ask you a question. If you answer correctly, I will acknowledge your wisdom. If not, you must learn from me." Nirmala agreed to the challenge and said, "Ask whatever you want." Gopal asked, "What is something that decreases when it increases and increases when it decreases?" Nirmala thought long and hard but couldn't answer. He was puzzled and couldn't find a solution to the question. Feeling ashamed and confused, he finally admitted his defeat. Gopal then said, "It is humility, sir. The more pride increases in your heart, the less humility you have, and the more humility increases, the less pride there is." At that moment, Nirmala realized his mistake and learned a valuable lesson about humility. Instead of feeling angry with Gopal, he thanked him for the lesson and said, "You have taught me today what I have not learned in my entire life." Bidpai concluded his tale by saying, "Your Majesty, wisdom is not only in knowledge and learning, but also in humility and the ability to learn from everyone, regardless of their status. A ruler must be wise, but above all, he must be humble." King Dabshalim admired Bidpai's wisdom and thanked him for the valuable story. From that day on, he decided to be more humble and open to the advice of others.